everyone, I'm Cody from Zeppeli's. Welcome to the first edition of the show. I'm here with Steve Foster, the adjunct professor at Virginia Tech. He's a former sommelier.
Sommelier, yes
Sommelier.
sir. Yep. There's many ways to pronounce it.
He also was in the restaurant business for a long time, so pretty near and dear to my heart. He was one of my wine distributors when I first got started. We're going to talk about and taste some wine. Should be good. So today we're tasting 3 wines. We're going to start off with this Locations French Rosé that I have actually not tasted yet, and I'm excited to taste that. Then we're going to move on to this J. Bouchon. It's a Bordeaux blend from South America. And finally we're going to finish with this Storyport Cabernet that's kind of cool. It's a restaurant-only Cabernet. You cannot buy it at the grocery stores, so something you can only get here at Zeppeli's. But we'll just talk and taste. So why don't we start off with the Rosé?
Sure. Let's go do that.
And Steve, when is a good time to drink a rosé? Or is all the time a good time to drink a
All
rosé?
the time is really great to drink a rosé. It's not your grandmother's white Zinfandel. Most rosés in the world are dry, like this one. They are fantastic with food, all different types of food. They're fantastic by themselves. This one in particular is from the southern France region near the Mediterranean, where it's extremely warm. Like all rosés, it's actually made from red grapes. This one is made from Grenache, and what they do is ferment the grapes on the skins, but only for a short while. So when they run the juice off, it's pink, whereas if they leave the fermentation all the way through on the grapes, you get your red wine. But
it's nice and dry. I get a lot of strawberry, which I personally like. You can kind of feel that it is Grenache. Because when I think Grenache, I think jammy, so I'm thinking strawberry jam, but just not heavy like a red wine.
That's right.
You know, so that's, I mean, it's good.
You're looking for your lighter red fruits, rosés, raspberries, things of that nature, strawberries. Very, very nice. Again, this is a dry wine. You can have it by itself. It's light enough not to need food.
It'd be wonderful on a day that's opposite of this.
That's right.
It's cold and rainy out, but on a nice, warm, sunny day.
That's right. Definitely a great warm weather wine.
So this is kind of cool. It comes from Dave Finney. If anyone's familiar with Orange Swift, the Prisoner wines, basically what he does is he goes and he loves big, jammy wines that he can just mix grapes together, mix vintages together, and basically find whatever he can find the best of the best, while keeping an eye on value. So a really nice French rosé. What they do, they don't do vintages. Like I said, he mixes what they can find, and then for right around $20, it's just a super line of wines, and we have a bunch of those. But this rosé is
the whole Locations line is extremely high quality at a very affordable price.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, Steve, why don't you just let them know? I'll go and pour the next one. Kind of what you're doing, what you do at Tech, and a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in the restaurant business. After graduating from Tech, I went back in our family business. We owned a restaurant in Roanoke, and after that, I went into the wine business full-time, retail and wholesale. Along the way, I developed a taste for wine in my late 20s, and ended up getting some certifications, including a sommelier certification from the Court of Master Sommelier. So
is that the highest court? Or is
there are 4 levels of the court. I went up to level 2.
Okay.
If you look at the movie Somm and things of that nature, those are the higher level master sommeliers.
Yeah.
And
we'd love to have a sommelier. It's not something we can quite afford.
That's right.
But I do try and taste wine every week.
Absolutely. Well, sommelier is just French for wine steward. Okay,
Yeah.
so technically you are a sommelier, my friend.
Right.
You are. What do we have here? This is the.
So this is the J. Bouchon Merlot Cab blend, 70% Merlot. It's got a little Cab Franc in there too. I grabbed this because I honestly hadn't tasted it. We got it in for a wine tasting, but last few weeks we have regulars who come in. They love to find a bottle, $10-15, which you can find here at Zeppeli's, and have it with dinner. They've grabbed this 3 weeks in a row. It's kind of interesting because every time we've opened it, the cork is broken, so we're like, well, maybe it's going bad, but they seem to love it, so we're going to give it a shot.
Okay.
Bordeaux blend from Chile, and like $10.99, $10, $12 if you're buying it elsewhere.
It's got a good nose. Most of the major grapes that we think of when we think of wine grapes are actually native to France. This Bordeaux blend is Merlot and Cab, and those are both native to the Bordeaux region, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when you think Bordeaux blend, it can be Merlot, Cab Franc, can be Cab, Merlot, Cab. It just kind of depends. A lot of that in France depends on if you're on what side of the river you're on. Is where
Right bank versus left bank.
Right. Is where they kind of grow different. But when you're outside of France, it's a very familiar blend that makes great wine. So that's usually why they go with it in Chile or even in America.
I'm glad you picked a Chilean wine. That's the best values right now in the wine world, right? Or South America,
Spain
and
always a good
Australia.
Yeah.
These warm weather climates where they can get the grapes to ripen completely. They make good wines. Very inexpensive, typically.
I mean, you might pay $20 to $25 for this quality of wine from France, and if you love French wines, you might do that. But if you want something that's going to be similar and provide a bang for the buck, this is definitely the way to
If you
go.
want California quality at half the price,
Yeah, exactly.
these types of warm weather climates are the way to go. Very good.
Yeah, this would be a really good wine to introduce to your students.
Yeah, it would
perhaps.
be. It would be.
So, why don't you just tell me a little bit about what you do at Tech? I know.
Yeah,
a couple questions.
They approached me a couple of years ago. They needed someone to teach a winery tourism class where we talk about the industry of wineries and the tourism it generates, and of course all kinds of different wines and procedures in the wine world. And it's in the hospitality tourism management school, so I try to work in a lot of practical restaurant, hotel, a lot of practical experience scenarios. Okay. Right.
So do you guys taste wine in class?
We do not taste wine in class, unfortunately.
So you just do on field trips?
We do places like this. We do 3 tastings per semester.
Okay.
We have one coming up here in a week or so.
Yep.
We do a white wine tasting, a red wine tasting. At the very end, we do a blind tasting where it's a mix of white wines and red wines. So.
Now, when it comes to tourism, what's something that you mix in class-wise? It's not just completely wine, because you're not going through. Are you talking about varietals?
We do. But the wine industry in Virginia, in particular, doubled from the year 2005 to 2010, and it nearly doubled again from the year 2010 to 2015. So Virginia is kind of a hot spot right now for wine tourism.
Actually, I have a vineyard from Roanoke coming up on Wednesday to taste through their wine. See if we want to bring some stuff in. We don't. To be honest, local vineyards, and we try not to bring in, just being honest, because you can drive the 15, 20 miles away and go and taste their wines with them probably for less than we can buy it from them and then resell it to you.
Right.
So maybe we'll bring some things in from further around in Virginia that you can't drive to in an afternoon. As long as it's high quality, we don't want because some wines are still starting out. A lot of the vineyards vines are still new.
They are.
It takes a little time to kind of get
going. Get your sea legs. That's right.
Any business.
That's right. Virginia's approaching 280 wineries right now, and a lot of those, like we said, are brand new.
Yeah.
So they're still figuring out the soil, the grape combination to get the blending.
Right.
It's definitely growing big time.
Now, as a former student
Cabernet?
and someone who is in the restaurant business, I remember when I turned 21, 22, and I would go out to a restaurant and I'd see a huge wine list with a bunch of expensive wines.
It's intimidating. Yeah.
It's intimidating. What are some tricks or tips on ordering something that I don't want to spend $200 on, but I might still get a good wine?
Absolutely.
And how do I pick it with our dinner? If I'm on a date, I don't want to look like an idiot, right?
Right. Well, the good news is, like we've talked about, a lot of wines these days, excellent wines, you can get fairly cheap. If you look at a restaurant wine list, again, if you stick to South America, Spain, even Washington State, you get extremely high quality wines for not a lot of money.
Okay.
As far as ordering, you can always ask the advice of the server, or if they have a sommelier or a manager, they're going to know the wines that are on the list. They should.
Right.
You can ask for recommendations, but don't be afraid to experiment. Like I tell my students, the only way to learn about wine, to know what you like and don't, is just to taste.
And that's why I tell people, if someone's looking for a nice Sauvignon Blanc, always offer them a Torrontés or something. Get them out of step them out of their
comfort zone. Right.
Exactly.
We all know Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Riesling, Cab Merlot, Shiraz. There's so many other varietals out there.
Cab Merlot, but if you had Carmenere, you might love it.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And as far as the wine list goes, I always tell people, if you look at the wine list, don't buy the cheapest bottle.
That's
what
right.
you want to do is buy the second cheapest bottle.
That's right.
Way,
That's
because
it.
that cheapest bottle, they're paying $3 a bottle for and selling to you for $30.
Right.
But that $40 bottle, they're probably paying $15-20 for, so you get a lot of high quality wine. Bang for your buck.
Indeed.
You know,
The lower to mid-range part of a typical
Right.
wine, this is where your value is.
Right.
And as far as pairing it with foods, it's a balance. A lighter food, you want a lighter-bodied wine like a rosé. A medium-bodied food, medium-bodied wine like the Bordeaux blend. A heavier filet mignon, obviously you want a heavier wine, so that they'll match. The two together make each other taste better.
Yes.
The two together are more than the two by
Right,
themselves.
and speaking on wine tasting pairings, I see that you do sometimes do private events. You can tell me a little bit about, like, you go to people's houses. How does that? How do you
I
generally do?
can go to people's houses and go to businesses if they want to do a wine tasting, a guided wine tasting for their guests and employees. If they want me to pair certain wines with certain foods, I do that a good bit. Yeah.
All right,
Take all my restaurant experience and sommelier experience and
put it together.
try to put it together and bless other people with it.
That's
That's right.
That's your little side hustle, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a gig economy, right?
It is the gig economy.
That's
right. So we are finally tasting, just to round out our the show here, the first episode, we're tasting the Story Point Cab from California. What's unique about this, I think I mentioned before, is it's only available in restaurants. It's a medium-bodied cab, and it's the least expensive Cabernet that we keep currently on our wine list and order every week. We go through about a case a month. It's the absolute favorite of our servers to sell, to drink, and to tell people about. Just drinks really nice. Like I said, not too heavy. Goes really well with our food, or any food in general. And they also do a Chardonnay and a Pinot Noir, but we really just enjoy the cab. It's slightly fruit forward,
Got that nice dark berry fruit flavor, maybe some cherry and blackberry. There's a lot of non-fruit flavors in wine too that you can look for, especially red wines, right?
You can get vanilla.
You can get vanilla, licorice. I taste a hint of cola even in here.
Cola, yes.
Yep, especially from California.
California, and you get a lot of cherry cola and Pinot Noirs and stuff like that. And sometimes wines will say like, tastes like road tar, smells like road tar, and things like that. And that just kind of, sometimes that means it's a little, I like to call gasoline, and a lot of times that just means it needs to breathe and open up.
It does.
Like I was telling
Pencil shavings, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Those are not flaws.
Right.
They're meant to taste that way,
Yeah,
especially as they age.
that way, right. If it tastes that way every time, then it's not a flaw.
Right. That's right. That's very
If it
good.
tastes that way and it's not supposed to, then...
That's right. This is a great cab.
Yeah.
Especially for the price.
Right.
Especially being from California.
Right, exactly.
It's a good value.
Yeah. And they source their grapes mostly from Sonoma, but I think they pull a little bit from Napa. Like I said, it's the least expensive one we keep on our list.
You've probably been wondering why we swirl and sniff before we drink. What it does, when you swirl a wine, you oxygenate it. It brings out the flavors, the aromas. Taste is actually 90% smell. That's why when you have a cold or something like that, you really can't taste. So you bring those flavors out, and hopefully a wine really should taste like it smells. Indeed.
All right, well, this has been the first episode of the show. Steve, do you have anything else you want to add? Really
Thanks for having me. Yes, sir.
Just want to mention coming up, we do have Valentine's coming up this week. We still have reservations available. Lunchtime, dinner time, and then we're also doing our couples menu this weekend. You can grab a great French rosé like this. We have
Perfect
a wine
for
sale going on
Valentine's.
right now.
That's right.
Perfect Valentine's, even if you're not coming out to eat. Great to have with a date.
That's right.
Let's see. And next week we'll be tasting wines again with Ryan Keaton. He's another wine distributor. That's kind of how I met these guys. Steve's moved on to other things, and Ryan's still one of my favorite distributors. So we'll be talking with him and tasting some wine next week. So join us next Tuesday for the show.